friends to make us all united in the evening. So fine. Today we'll be going on to the disaster management. So this is Nandhakumar. I'm a research scholar, and I have done my aeronautical as my undergraduate, and postgraduate I have done my masters in business administration with a specialization of operations and marketing. So we'll be going further. So just we'll have a brief introduction of what is disaster. So if anyone has any of the queries, just raise your hands or else put your questions on the chat box. Vijay, please do look after that if any questions arise. So what is disaster? Disaster could be of an incident or else a accident that may be of planned one or unplanned one, like your explosions, your bomb threats, or accidents, whatever it could be. It can be of nature or else a man-made one. So this is what disaster is. It's actually disaster. How to prevent this if in the case a disaster has happened. This is what disaster management is all about. So suppose we are got stuck in a cyclone or earthquake or any rail accidents or flight accidents. We have got stuck with that. So what are the necessary measures need to be taken further to make that loss in a lesser one? So this is what all disaster management is all about. So we'll be looking bit elaborate further. So what is the process of disaster management? What if a disaster is gonna get occurred? What I need to do? This is what the process. So preparation to deal with the disaster before it occurs. One, I have to deal with the deal what is gonna come ahead. Suppose tomorrow it will be of so rainy. Might be my area would be affected by flood. So what are the necessary measures I need to take? I'll be charging my phone, and I'll be getting a food for the day. So these are the necessary things I'll be looking for myself as a person. Suppose if due to a cyclone or flood, someone building has got collapsed. So you are okay. This is not about I. You are okay. You are going to help someone who is out of a danger. So I need to do. Sorry, did anyone of raise the question? Okay, fine. So rehabilitation of the people, I need to take care of them as it doesn't needs to be like you are fire. You belongs to the fire department or else I belongs to this department. You know, does not need to be a police or someone who needs to be taken care. You can be a normal public to help someone. So why disaster management? We have seen what is disaster management. Now, why disaster management? So if something is occurred, incidents or your accident has occurred, you have to assist the people for the food, for their shelters. You can just take them to your home as well if something has happened, if you are safe, because you are going to pull someone out of a danger. If in the case of injured persons or else they need assistance, you could be able to call the person who could if you could not be a doctor, obviously you could not be a doctor, you could not be able to do a CPR or anything to make that person alert. You can do what you can do is that you can just go assist them. If in the case you can call the ambulance or the fire engine guy to take care of them if in the case of more accidents. So hereby we'll be getting this is what the introduction, all the introduction, what the disaster management is all about. So hereby we will be going on to the deeper concepts. So just four things you have to get in touch with: hazard, vulnerability, risk, reliance. So this your disaster management is all about these four concepts. Wherever you see onto the disaster management, your concepts is purely depends upon these four words: hazards, vulnerability, risk, and resilience. Hey, am I audible? Could anyone of you speak up whether
Yes,
was I being audible?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Um, so from which still part because I'm not getting an signal properly. So that could you please say from where haven't you hearing?
Hazard vulnerability capacity. Last one.
Okay, fine. So these are four things. Sorry. Hazard is like potential to cause damage. It's a starting and ordinance and initial stage. Hazard is actually a threat or an event, natural or as a human made, that has the potential to cause the disaster when it interacts with the vulnerable communities. Like we can go ahead with earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions. It can be causing a disaster. What hazard versus disaster is that? How do you differentiate hazard versus disaster? Is that hazard is an potential situation that could cause a damage or also harm. What disaster is all about is the actual event that causes a serious disruption and that exceeds the affected community's ability to cope up. So moving on with the vulnerability, weakness in the system or the community. This is what vulnerability is all about. Because some people who are illiterate or who doesn't have an awareness what would occur tomorrow. Because even in the situations, many of the people doesn't have the mobile phones or television in their home, so that they will be not aware what is going to happen tomorrow. So that this is what vulnerability is all about. And risk, a potential loss or the damage that occurs when an hazard interacts with the when vulnerability occurs, because I don't have any of the opinion or as awareness what is going to happen tomorrow, so that here comes the risk getting into the scenario. Normally we are going with an sort of, this is not about the equation. Risk is hazard into vulnerability divided by capacity. What capacity I have to help the people, because I'm the only guy who is available here and could I able to help all the 50 people who is been affected by this disaster. I could not able to do that, so that I need to call out the people or as a police or fire guy to help or to assist the people. Resilience is okay, everything has got over, all your disaster you have saved the people, everything has got over, and how do you recreate that one is called as resilience. Like in 2011 there was a tsunami in Japan. So everyone knows that just Japan took 4 days to reconstruct everything. So this is what resilience is. So disaster management cycle, from wherever you can take this. You wanted to start from preparedness or else from recovery, whatever it is, you can take it. So I have taken from mitigation. Mitigation is the pre-disaster. So tomorrow this is gonna get happened. So what are the necessary things to be done for the day? Actions taken to reduce or eliminate the risk. Like it's a long-term strategical process. Suppose if I'm getting more landslides in a proper particular area, I could able to plant more trees over there so that I could prevent the landslide. So preparedness is also comes under the pre-disaster. Like same as I said in mitigation, planning and training activities done before the disaster strikes. Response is something which is during the disaster. So immediate action has to be taken. Uh, so you should not get panicked. First of all, you should be aware what is going to happen. And then you can help out the next people. Like you can search for the rescue operations team, medical emergency medical aid you can have with you, distribution of food and water, clothes, shelter. Recovery is something. It is a post-disaster one. So as I said you that four things, four things in this: hazard, vulnerability, risk, reliance. The same thing will be revolving here. Recovery is returning to the normal life. There we have, so recovery is something returning once back to the normal life. In the companies, like some people are working professions, you might know this ERP. What does ERP means is that emergency response plan. If something is going to occur, what are the things to be should be done? So ERP is generally it's a written statement from the company side. Like drill should be done, a proper drill. If in the case fire is happening, what is the measure you have to take? That the drill will be done, or mock drills will be done, and what are the you have to know the exact floor plan. If in the case of fire, how should I need to escape from this area? So its main objective is to minimize the injuries and fatalities, is like deaths or casualties. So these are structured or detailed documents that outlines a step before the disaster happens. So main purpose is to life, safety, property protection. This is what ERP is about. So risk assessment is identifies the potential hazards and evaluates the likelihood of an impact. So we'll get back to the key components. What is ERP is and what does ERP's components is based on. So risk assessment, getting on with the, we have 9. So getting on to the first one, risk assessment, identify the potential hazards, prioritize the risk for the preparedness and response planning. So emergency scenarios, like define the specific response protocols, what have to be done. Roles and responsibilities. If you are working on to a company, it doesn't require ERP has the separate team. ERP should have the separate team. It will be like whomever it may be. It be a manager or your team leader, whomever it may be. You are just sharing your roles and responsibilities once the incident or an accident has occurred. So you have to know the alarms and alert systems, evacuation plan, as I said earlier, evacuation, how and what are the ways to get out of this door. An incident has happened 3 years back. One of the Axis bank has got in fire. So bank was actually in the seventh floor. The girl, she doesn't knows how to evacuate, move out of that bank. So like she has jumped out of the building. So if you don't know the evacuation plan, this is what happens there. So first aid and medical kits, whenever you go, just check your first aid and medical kits, like whether it is not get expired, like whatever you use, medicine or your tablets, uh, your band-aids, it is not getting expired. If it is expired, please do say it to the appropriate person so that they will be changing it. Because if something has happened, uh, you could not able to assist the people. You can see, you can just wait and see what is happening. That's what you can do. You have be even after knowing, okay, she is feeling dizziness, so I should need to give her a tablet, but the tablet is getting expired. So it should be done at the appropriate time. Firefighting equipments, communication plan.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Depending upon the situation, the evacuation plan will be changed, sir. For example, a flood will affected means how will be the rescue the people, sir.
That's what pre-disaster we have spoke about pre-disaster, right? That plan should be taken in prior. If in the case of flood, day after tomorrow, suppose if you take Chennai, which is in India, if you take Chennai, so it will be like December, all the December, the area will be flooded. The whole Chennai will be flooded. Take Bangalore. If in the case of like September or October, the whole area will be flooded. So what are the necessary actions to be taken? You know it is going to happen, then take the necessary precautionary measures what you can do. Like as I've said in prior, if in the case of flood, charge your mobile phones, inform the next people, prepare yourself for the food. You doesn't needs to be like evacuated, because if in the case of emergency, you need to call the appropriate authorities, like firefighting people, to get rescued by you. Right? Got it?
Got it, sir.
Because
But
it differs
the
from scenario to scenario.
okay, sir. I got it, sir. It will happen yearly by sir. The permanent solution it will be not taken for the government or
Permanent solution can't be taken because it is a natural one. You cannot able to prevent against the nature. That can be done here. What you can do is that safeguard yourself, safeguard who is around you. If in the case
okay,
of like
okay, sir.
train accident, he doesn't know that what will happen. He doesn't know that whether it is going to happen or not. So that particular area people have to accommodate those people until or unless authority comes into the scenario. As I said earlier, training and mock drills has to be conducted at least 3 months once or 2 months once on a period basis. So this is something different and interesting from disaster risk reduction (DRR). So DRR refers to the strategies and practices aimed at reducing the damage caused by the hazards through the prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. So objectives is like DRR aims in pre-disaster. It's all belongs to pre-disaster. If something is going to, I know that tomorrow this is going to happen, so that I'm going to prepare myself for the day. Disaster management is once a disaster has occurred, what could be done. This is what uh, that is during disaster, and after disaster is what disaster management does. But disaster risk reduction is something pre preparing yourself in prior. So the disaster risk reduction DRR involves with risk identification and assessment and prevention and mitigation. Prepare yourself. So early warning systems. Uh, you could have received many of the people who are from India knows this. Uh, so you will be getting an started to get an notification. This is from a natural disaster team, so that you need not to panic anything. This is just a test message, because if something in the case tomorrow or a landslide or earthquake, tsunami, whatever it is going to happen, in the case happen, something has to be passed from the government side. So that this is what going to happen tomorrow. So that this is what the test message goes on. Before 3 months, this has happened. So people in between suddenly started to get SOS on their mobile. So this is what early warning systems are. So monitoring the direction, risk analysis, timely communication, and resilience building is a main and foremost important thing. Strengthening the ability of the communities to resist, observe, and recover from disasters. If you are good, help the other one. That might happen to you as well tomorrow, because then no one will come, because it's an uncertain one. No one could predict what would happen to us tomorrow. So help others if you are good. So, as I said earlier, what is DRR versus disaster management? What it is DRR and disaster management is? So, DRR is purely depend upon prior to disaster. That's if you can see this, you could be able to know that. Preventive risk reduction, resilience, proactive. You have to be proactive. Something is going to occur before the disaster strikes and reduce the vulnerability. Risk mapping, education has to be that has awareness has to be there with the people. If this has happened, I need to do that. If either something, because we doesn't need to know about this landslide, snow slide. We doesn't need to know because we are not in certain region. We are the safest buildings there. So if something earthquake is going to happen, what can be done? This is what at least you should have some basic awareness about it. So disaster management is all about response, relief, and recovery. So reactive, you have to be reactive. During so this can happen during and after this disaster. So save lives, and restore normalcy. Control damage, quicker recovery. So who are the persons involved? Will be involved in disaster management? This is police, fire service, so medical teams, non-NGOs, NGOs will be involved in that. If you wanted to be a part, always welcome. You can also do that. Disaster management, all have to know about the disaster management. If something has occurred, whether it may be in the office or in the home, in the personal life, if this is going to occur, what should be done? Everyone has to know. Uh, Whoever is has the experience, working professionals, just check with your companies if not yet done for you so far. Mock drills, ask for your company responsible persons to check for the mock drills, whether this has happened, what should be done. So here we have around the 30 to 35 people here. How many of you open that fire extinguisher and touch that? Or else how many of you knows that how it does work? Probably not even two or three would have done, because we aren't aware. If something is going to happen tomorrow, we'll see then. This is what all our mentality is about. So, so I'm not insisting you people to open that fire extinguisher and check for your safety. So it's like just be onto the awareness, check with your people who is around.